Love Hurts, the newest film out on the big screen, so let's talk about it. So Love Hurts is the newest action film that is out on the big screen for you guys to go and check out. Now, this film is all about a character known as Marvin, who gives up the life with his brother of, you know, basically being an assassin, realistically, and throws it all away to become a realtor and to become a normal person with a normal life. And when things from his past come back up, he must now adapt and reawaken that person that he once was. Now, this movie is only an hour and 23 minutes long, so it's not anything that's like outrageously 3 hours long or anything like that. This movie went pretty quickly. Now, Love Hurts. I'm gonna be honest. The story is not great. I will say that. Like, we look at the story, it's very messy, it's very clunky and chucky and just all over the place. I mean, you got story threads that you kind of sitting there like, oh, okay, this is a bit weird. Like, there's one about his assistant. She has this whole thing. That whole stuff with her and Raven was just kind of weird. And I was just like, this feels like this is just put in here to fill time. That's what it felt like. So that was an issue because I'm following that storyline and I was kind of like, ugh, I don't really need to see this storyline. This does not really need to be in it. It's just in it for one moment in with a whole, the identity and quotes and stuff like that, and the advice that Marvin gave to her. It's only there for that purpose. So that was kind of an iffy storyline that I was like, you chopped it out, probably be better, to be honest. Because they tried to develop those characters as well, the side characters, and those particular ones, I was kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But the main story itself is very much like Marvin gets out of the game, and now the game has come back to him. His past is caught up. Now he's got to change everything. So it was kind of like one of those things, and it's like, it's on Valentine's Day, so everything revolves around Valentine's Day. And it's all about him, trying to rediscover that love that he had for Rose and everything like that you see in the trailer. Now, it's following it, it was like, okay, I understand what's going on. It wasn't anything deep or anything like that, but what this film really excels at is the action, in my opinion. The action in this film was quite good. Whenever there was fights going on or anything like that, I was enjoying it because there was a lot to go on. And what I loved about it is they made those fights quirky and fun. So it wasn't just your original hand-to-hand combat, just typical, oh, this guy is absolutely bodying this guy because he's just a better martial artist. Those sort of things that we're used to seeing. No, this had a lot of variety to it. There's moments where they're using different utensils that are available to them, different items and everything, just grabbing whatever they can and doing it. And it made it more fun. And the actual conversations and dialogue while the fights were going on were hilarious, especially at the start of the movies. When you're at the start of the movie, when you're watching Marvin fight these guys that are coming for him, I really enjoyed the confrontation and the communication between them mid-fight. And I love there's these two particular characters that you get introduced to that are coming after him. Those two were hilarious. That first fight, when they go back and forth and stuff, was hilarious. I really, really enjoyed it. But as you progress, the fights just get better and better and better. And just the usage of the different items was very unique. That gave it a little bit more of a spark when it was happening. Now, the fights themselves, I think there was only really one fight that really had narrative purpose where you're like, oh, I can feel the emotional weight of this fight. And that was obviously in the third act when Marvin turns up at the end. And there's this fight that goes on and then, his brother's involved and there's this whole backstory with him and his brother. They don't dive too much into the brother, which was a bit disappointing. But that fight at the end there, I think had narrative purpose in that, which elevated that fight for me because I could feel the emotion throughout each strike. Each strike meant something for each one of them. So I think that elevated that. Now, the villain is the brother, but he's not really at the forefront of the whole entire movie. There's his right-hand man is more so, but the right-hand man was interesting, and then they just kind of like, fizzled into nothing, which was a bit of a shame. And the brother doesn't really have a backstory. Now, there is one scene regarding Cliff and his brother. Cliff was such a great, like, when you meet Cliff, this guy is awesome. This guy is awesome. And there's a confrontation that happens with him and Marvin's brother. And that whole confrontation, I think that set the stage for you hating the brother. But they never dived into the brother. They never gave us a backstory or anything like that. What got him into the work? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? He's a very one-dimensional character. So the villains themselves are just kind of like, ugh. I would have liked to see a little bit more. And I feel like if you shaved off this storyline with these other two characters falling in love and all sorts of crap, and actually focused on the villain and gave us that part and dive into it, show us a bit more of the backstory, the past and stuff like that, I really feel like it would have enhanced it. It would have enhanced the experience a bit more. Rose, who's obviously the secondary character here, she was fine. Nothing too outrageous or anything like that. She's one-dimensional as well. She doesn't really have layers to it, to her character, so it's kind of like, okay. It is. Marvin, he has layers. He's the only one that's like not one-dimensional, one that you understand the motivation, stuff like that, except for Cliff. Cliff was awesome. Loved that character. That character was great. But Marvin's character is the best character in the movie because he actually has layers, and you're watching this transition that he's going through and trying to rediscover who he is and trying to get over the past. So I liked all that stuff, but there is some issues. There was some shots where I was like, oh, that's obviously green screen. You can tell. So there is those moments in here. Overall, Love Hurts, to me, it's nothing that's like spectacular where you're sitting there and you're like, oh my, bro, this changed my life, man. This story was absolutely incredible. Like, can you believe it? This is getting win awards and that. No, it's not that type of movie. Look, if you're looking for some fun action with some cool bloody kills and, you know, awesome moments where there's going to be great hand-to-hand combat, where you can turn your brain off and you can have a laugh and stuff like that, this is the movie, because that's what it is. And I feel like this movie knew that. I don't think it was trying to lean into this heavy theme or anything like that. What I think it did is it knew that it was supposed to be like an action comedy. It's supposed to be fun, supposed to be funny, not too deep, hence the reason why it's only an hour and 23 minutes. Deliver some great action and say, look, hopefully you had fun. And look, I had fun. I will say that. I was laughing. I was enjoying the action. I was able to turn my brain off. I didn't actually have to think. And look, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you have a movie where you can turn your brain off and just enjoy it for what it is and have a bit of fun, I don't think that's bad. Like, not every movie has to be on the level of like a Dune Part 2 where you're, or Interstellar or something like that, where you're constantly thinking, trying to figure out what's going on. Sometimes it's great to have these type of movies where I can just sit back and just enjoy it and not have to overthink or think anything or anything like that and just have fun with it. And I think Love Hurts is that type of movie. Now, this isn't going to be my top 10 best movies of the year. No, it's not going to be my worst. It's going to be probably in the middle. But man, it is a fun time. So let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy this movie or not? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.